If you've ever had the problem of your scalp being oily and your ends being dry, this right here is your solution. So you'll take your boar brush and you'll go over each section of your scalp 2 to 3 times. Trust me, this feels amazing and it's wonderful for your hair. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Laura, I'm a hairstylist, and today I'm gonna teach you guys the right ways to brush your hair and scalp to keep them both healthy. So something that comes as a surprise to most of my clients is that 95% of the population brushes their hair wrong. This is something that you probably don't pay hardly any attention to, but it's actually a very important skill in maintaining the integrity of your hair. Using the wrong types of hairbrush as well as brushing your hair wrong can lead to a lot of unnecessary breakage and flyaways all the way up your hair strand. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys 5 different tips for brushing your hair and scalp the right way. So if you detangle your hair like this, even if you're starting at the bottom, you're doing it wrong. The right way to detangle your hair is actually vertically. The reason for this is because of the bristles. Depending on how the bristles are positioned in your brush is what determines which way you should be holding your hairbrush when detangling your hair. Most paddle brushes actually will detangle your hair gentler if you detangle the hair vertically instead of horizontally. If you look at the pins on this brush, you can see they are in a straight line vertically. When we hold the brush horizontally, they're not necessarily in a straight line. They're a little more jumbled together. If you'll take a look here at my mannequin's hair that I just teased the crap out of, you'll see that if we take the brush horizontally, the hair does not want to come untangled. It's very hard to pull this brush all the way down. I would have to pull really, really hard, rip, tug, and break the hair in order to get through all of this. Now, if I take the brush vertically and go in and detangle the hair, starting with just the tips, you can see at how much easier these tangles are coming out. Look at that. We just got all of that teasing out in a matter of seconds. Then after it's detangled vertically, you can go in horizontally just to make sure it's completely smooth. Now I want to point out that some brushes do have their lines horizontally instead of vertically. So this wet brush, for example, has the bristles in a horizontal straight line. If you're using this brush to detangle your hair, you will go in horizontally instead of vertically. Now my second tip is a little bit more well known, and this is to start at the bottom rather than the top. If you start detangling your hair by sticking the brush in the top and pulling all the way down, you're not going to do much detangling. What you're going to do instead is push the tangles all together in a bunch, and you're going to create a giant knot in the hair that you'll then have to work out, and you're likely gonna break off a lot of hair in the process. It's always best to start at the bottom of your hair, slowly working out the tangles and moving your way up the hair strand until all the tangles have been released. Okay, so number 3, I want to talk about what to do if you have a knot in your hair that you're having a hard time getting untangled. So right here, I've again teased up my mannequin's hair, so we've simulated a knot in the hair. And rather than trying to rake or brush it out, even if we're doing it vertically, if you're finding that the brush is getting stuck in the hair, it's best to set the brush down and take your fingers and spread the knot out. Using your fingers to release the knot is going to make it so much easier to brush out than if you just keep ripping and raking through the hair. Now that we've spread this apart, we can then take the brush vertically and remove the tangles the rest of the way. So number 4 is that you should use a different hairbrush for when your hair is wet versus dry. Now I talked a little bit about this in my previous video where I showed you guys my favorite hairbrushes as well as what hairbrushes to avoid. But in case you didn't see that video, you should be using nylon bristles when your hair is wet and boar bristles when your hair is dry. You do not need to use these strong bristles to detangle your dry hair every day. If you're doing this on non-wash days, you're likely damaging and breaking off some hair. I recommend using a boar bristle brush to detangle dry hair and a nylon bristle brush to detangle wet hair. Now, personally, I like to get a round boar bristle brush, and I use this for my blowouts as well as detangling my hair because these boar brushes can be kind of expensive. And again, if you can see the way the pins are aligned in this brush, the proper way to detangle dry hair with this brush would be going in vertically like this, making sure all of the tangles have been removed. And then you can go in horizontally once you're sure that there's no big tangles in there. Now, there are different brush types, whether you have fine hair or thick hair, because you will need a stronger bristle if you have a ton of hair, because a very fine and gentle bristle isn't gonna penetrate all the way through. Olivia Garden makes several different types of brushes, whether you have fine hair or thick hair. The fine hair brush has much gentler bristles, and the thick hair brush has a little bit of stronger bristles so that your hair can get fully penetrated. Okay, so number 5, I want to talk about brushing your scalp. Now, this is something that actually a lot of people don't do, but it's very important in your scalp health. I recommend taking a boar bristle brush and brushing throughout your scalp for about 10 minutes every single day. Not only will this stimulate your scalp, but it'll exfoliate any dead skin cells and pull the natural oils from your scalp down through your ends that need it. If you've ever had the problem of your scalp being oily and your ends being dry, this right here is your solution. Now, keep in mind that boar bristles will pull the oils down a lot better than nylon bristles will. So that's why I recommend using a boar brush and not a nylon brush for brushing your scalp. Now, this should help you extend your days between shampooing because you're distributing the oils off of your scalp and away from the root of your hair. I actually like to use a teasing brush for this because this brush is smaller and fits in my hand better, and I can better customize right at the scalp where I want to brush. So you'll take your boar brush and you'll go over each section of your scalp 2 to 3 times. Trust me, this feels amazing and it's wonderful for your hair. I recommend doing this on dry hair the night you wash it and then every single day up until you wash it again. If you want to take it a step further, you can even use your blow dryer to help you glide the oils down. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Leave me a comment if you have any questions on this, and make sure you subscribe if you want to make every day a good hair day.